Morning Nostalgia, and we are back with Without a Voice. Now, in the last episode, we learned that Elowen is a princess, but she's like a banished princess, so I don't think she's part of the kingdom anymore. And so she's living in a forest in a cute little cabin full of nature. You know, it's pretty cute. She reads all day. You know, she learned how to make a fire or how to catch firewood with a person she meets in the forest named Elowen. And Elowen is kind of cute, you know, ain't gonna lie, you know, something about her. But they both are becoming good friends, you know, and we don't know why she's actually living in a forest yet. We don't know why Elowen or either Cassidy, you know, we still don't know much about our people, you know, but we will soon. So, yeah. And, yeah, so let us just begin, you know. Without wisdom or experience, storms shall ill-withered be. But when you're nearby, dear one, no storms can bother me. Day 3. Man, this cabin is so cute, like all the flowers and such good natural lighting. The exiled princess paused in the very first line of her letter. Is that too familiar? Will he dislike it? The brother of her memory was a kind boy, but rather stiff and particularly mindful of decorum. Following the events of the previous evening, Cassidy felt compelled to rewrite her half-finished letter. Okay, so I kind of played a little bit earlier, except my OBS was kind of malfunctioning. But I picked, this one because since we know she is a princess, but she knows that she's kind of been banished, you know, so I feel like she's like in a situation she cannot control. You know, she just knows she has to live in a forest for who knows how long, you know. So I feel like if she told the truth, you know, it's not gonna help her. So I might as well talk to her about her best ways, you know. That way, you know, she can be, I don't know, more chill or something. I do not wish to disappoint him or bore him with minutiae. My original draft. She sighed, recalling the contents of the now ripped up pages. I pinned far too much. I would never whine, of course, but my words were drawing near that. She was afraid to admit, even to herself, how much she missed her brother. Cassidy finished the letter without much of a fuss. She wrote briefly of Elowen. I passed it by, helping her find firewood. To my dear Alexander, I hope that this letter finds you well, dear brother. I have greatly enjoyed the last book you sent me. However, it had such a sad ending, even though the father loved his youngest daughter. So, it all came to nothing in the end. Both of them died. Can there be any worse fate than to die at your loved one's hand? I dare say not. The book has given me much to think about. I do hope you send a happier to me next time. I do begin to tire of reading such dreary works. And then the last paragraph is just her telling her, you know, passing by, finding wood. Most of the contents, however, were in regards to the book she had recently finished. Perhaps it was encouraged my dear brother to send me more. When Cassidy looked out at the window, she realized the sun had started to set. Oh dear, was I revising for so long? Silly me. She folded up the letter and placed it in an envelope, sealing it with the roll wax seal she was given. She stood and stretched, her arms above her head. I have hardly moved all day. That is no good. Cassidy walked to the front of the cottage, where she normally left her letters halfway beneath the door for an agent to collect. She had just stuffed her letter under the door when... Princess. Cassidy's blood ran cold for just a moment. Yet she soon realized who was addressing her and relaxed. You surprised me, Elowen. She spoke to the other woman through the half-open window to the front of the cottage. I am no princess, you know. Is that so? You seem like one to me. Cassidy was not sure how to respond to that sentiment. Have I casually let slip that I was a princess? I did not realize that I still behaved in the manner of one. Lifelong habits cannot so soon be discarded, it seems. There was an envelope under the door. Oh yes, do leave it there. It's outgoing. Outgoing? Elowen paused for a long while, but she said no more to the subject. May I come in? Of course. I'm so sorry. I should have invited you sooner. I was so taken aback, you see. I did not mean to surprise you so. It's all right. I'm happy surprise. I am so glad to see you. She opened the door and ushered Elowen inside. This time, Cassidy did not forget her manners. She quickly flew into the kitchen to make her guest some tea and pulled out the crackers she set aside for just some occasion. Elowen politely sipped the tea, but did not touch the crackers. I swear she's already eaten. I wonder why she does not eat. I like the I wonder why she does not eat, because not once have we ever seen you eat. So I don't know why I even clicked on it, but I'm still doing exactly what I did earlier, so I don't have to like save, each and every time. I wonder why she does not eat. Perhaps these are not to her taste. It seems a waste when I saved these crackers purposely in order to be a good hostess when next she came. Though she was confused, Cassidy quietly ate a cracker or two before putting the tray away. The two women talked pleasantries for some time, though it became rather apparent that Elowen's attention lay elsewhere. Is everything quite alright? Why do you ask? You seem somewhat reserved. That is more than usual. That letter. You said it was outgoing. Is that the letter you wrote to your brother? Oh yes, if I leave the letters there, someone will come collect it. Someone? How can that be? You do not go into town to have your mail delivered? She was at a loss as to how to explain. Cassie herself knew that her situation was extraordinary. You see, though, I live alone. I am well taken care of. My brother provides everything. Every fortnight or so, his agents deliver food and supplies to me. Someone's around to collect my outgoing letters once or twice a day. I only ever send my brother letters, of course. I was not wrong when I said this place was like a jail. Why do you live here alone when he clearly has enough resources to take care of you? Cassie shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Elowen's eyes seemed not to look at her so much to bore into her soul. Cassie felt judged and deemed unworthy, though she did not quite respond to Elowen's inquiry. No matter how she phrased it in her head, it sounded awful. I am here for my own safety. She took a deep breath. When you called me princess earlier, you were not far off the mark. I once was a princess, though I am no longer. After my father, the king's death, I was to inherit the throne, but our barons in parliament voted no confidence. Worse, I was then handed trumped-up charges of treason. I very well could have been executed. Instead, my younger brother intervened on my behalf. So you are alive. In exile, but alive. The former princess surprised herself at the depth of her own feelings, at the desperation with which she tried to convince, especially herself, that it was for the best. It's not so terrible. This cottage is lovely. It is a good thing to be among nature like this. How can you be so positive? What? You speak so fondly of your brother, when he is the one who exiled you, who left you here to rot in isolation. It's not like that, Elowen. What part of what I said is false? Tell me. It's not that simple. It is not Alexander's fault. She found herself repeating her thoughts in a manner mechanically, things she only half believed. She had said all these things before. It seemed she no more believed them now. As a result of your dear Alexander's intervention, you were exiled, were you not? Who's to say he was not responsible for the unfavorable vote in the first place? Why would he do that? What would he have to gain? Probably your throne, honestly. It is not my brother's fault. He could have let them kill me, but I am alive thanks to him. I previously stated my belief that you are kind and good. I have now revised my opinion. You are a blind fool. As I am mute, you are blind. Altogether too blind to the selfish ways of the world. What is your meaning? It is nothing. Believe in your brother all you wish, but you cannot deny that there is truth to what I've said. Elowen rose from her seat in one swift movement and then headed for the door. Good night, princess. I am princess no longer. Mock me not, I beg you. Huh. Just like that, she was gone, disappeared into the dark. Cassie wrapped her arms around her torso, hugging herself for comfort in the wake of Elowen's sudden, indignant anger. Oh, she's crying. Poor thing. Feeling confident, the former princess squeezed her eyes shut. Oh, Alexander, if only she knew you as I do, then she would understand. I don't know. I don't know. We really don't know much about Alexander. We don't know much about any of our characters, We know a little bit of, Cassidy, but not much, But now that Elowen even mentioned it, yeah, maybe Alexander has something up his sleeve. Like, maybe he wanted the throne. Maybe he didn't want his sister to have the throne, so he plotted up a plan, But who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? There is a treasure that can't be bought, no matter how long it may be sought. It is something priceless, yet free. I speak, of course, of an apology. Day 4. Ah. After a restless sleep, Cassidy awoke to the sun's harsh rays. She stretched, aching her back to release the tension there. Finally, her gaze went to the front door. There was a dancing lack of a letter beneath it. They must have come in the night. How delinquent of my brother's agents are. You are a blind fool. All at once, the memories of her argument with Elowen nearly knocked the wind out of her. I cannot believe I divulged such secrets to someone I barely know. Cassie was positive both of her and Elowen's odd behavior. I'm sure she had a reason. I'm sure. Elowen appeared so upset. Because when she said it, yeah, it sounded like, why would your brother be the one who said, oh, exile her? Like, why did he not try to, save her? Or say, no, she did not have treasure? Not treasure. Teason? I don't know. I feel like Alexander could have done a little bit more. Elowen appeared so upset. I wonder if she experienced something similar. Perhaps my blind optimism reminded her too much of it. I'm sure she was only worried for me. I seem to inspire that breed of pity in others. I can understand that. I'm afraid I often come off as quite helpless. Maybe a little bit. You didn't even know how to pick up firewood. I must ask her about her own life. We know so little about each other. It's no wonder she would react that way. One can only draw conclusions based on what one already knows. Presently, there was a knock at the door. Given how long it had been since her last shipment, as well as the fact that Elowen was far more likely to announce her presence with her words, Cassidy could draw but one conclusion. She waited nearly 10 minutes before opening the door. It was protocol. She knew not who her brother sent, and it was unclear whether they knew whom they were delivering to. The royal family Vermore had a distinctive look to them. It would not do for too many people to know who she was, or that a former princess dwelled here. It's a box! But she finally allowed herself to open the door. She found a large wooden crate, not unlike the previous ones. Sitting atop the crate's contents was a sealed envelope. Cassidy instantly recognized the severe cursive. To my sister, I am glad to hear that you are adjusting well to life at the cottage. Doubtless, there are many things that challenge you, given your former life, but we must all make the best of things. I know that you have too much time on your hands, so I have been sure to enclose more books for you to read. You may, one day, be called upon to marry well for the advantage of king and country. As such, it is of utmost importance that you keep your mind sharp and your hands and idle. The last part seemed to have been written later. The script looks slightly different. I think of you often. I worry about you more often still. Be safe in the first and keep to yourself, though I know that's difficult for you. Please await my next letter. I remain your loyal brother. She read over the letter many times, trying her best to glean affection from it. Alexander has always been a little awkward. I'm sure this bit was added with some reluctance after one of his advisors chastised him for the content of his letter. She smiled and ran her fingertips along the part of the letter. I think of you often. But then she remembered the sentence about marriage. How thoughtful. I don't want to marry. Maybe I should change it. Because I picked how thoughtful, because, and then she was saying how oh, my brother probably thinking of ways for me to get out of this, But, would she even want to marry someone she doesn't even know? Because right now she has a humble life, and I'll just keep it all the same. Oh, but I don't know if that's a good thing because it's darkened. I'm sure that Alexander does not wish me to live the rest of my life here. How thoughtful of him to find some way of me to escape exile, even if it's through a political marriage. I must say, I am not very excited at the prospect. The letter did not raise the spirits as much as the letters from Alexander usually did. The implication of it weighed on her. Of course, I must be useful to the kingdom somehow. Why else would I be alive? If I can't be of use, even if a disgraced princess, Cassidy sighed. She could not finish that thought. All of a sudden, Cassidy wanted nothing but to see Elowen again. I will seek her out. I must. The other woman's princess would suddenly be absolved for her current mood. That was her reasoning, and so she swiftly acted upon it. Cassidy set the crate away inside the cottage and then set out. After a long, fruitless walk about the forest, she arrived in front of the restaurant tree. Elowen, princess, I am no longer a princess. Just because you no longer live in a castle does not mean that you are no longer a princess. Cassidy was reminded of the word marriage once again. Elowen was right. She was still considered a princess, and so far as a princess could be useful. A long silence passed between them. Both were conscious, no doubt, of the argument that had inspired between them, an argument they had not yet resolved. I am sorry. Elowen's eyes widened almost imperceptibly, but Cassidy, staring into the other woman's face as she was, took note. I should not have had burdened you with my circumstances to begin with. But you were only worried for me. I should have been more sensitive in my explanation. No. Huh? Cassidy was struck by the sight of Elowen's soft smile as she laughed. The former princess' heart fluttered and her brother's letter was probably forgotten. It is nothing. It would seem that I too am quite the fool. The air thoroughly cleared. The two women were able to enjoy the rest of the day together. They whiled the time away in companionable satisfaction. That night, Cassidy drifted off to sleep with a full heart. The strings of love are oft unseen, so wrapped around you they may be. When tied fast, no one can come between. No challenge humble fate's decree. Day 5. Okay, so this is a good stopping point. Really, it really is. And I'm really curious of what's gonna happen. You know? Because, okay, so we know a little bit more about Cassidy. We know she's been exiled. We know her brother may or may not have had something to do with it, you know? And I don't know what Elowen's, you know, like she seemed pretty wise. I have no idea what her age, but she seemed really wise. And she seems like she had already figured things out. She seems to be able to read people easily, you know? But where does she live? Because not once do we even know or been to her house or even seen her house or know anything much about her. So I'm really curious of who she is. You know, but we just have to figure out in the next video. And like always, I'll see you guys around. Toodles!